Thank you so much for joining. I'm sure Hala probably needs little introduction, as you're well known in the region and in doing hospitality work, etc., doing consultancy work. But let me just quickly say, so you've had 2 decades now of experience. You've led more than 5,000 hospitality and mixed-use projects across global markets, guiding investors, developers, and operators with your deep expertise in valuations, asset management, and strategic investments. So really recognized as one of the most influential voices in shaping the region's hospitality landscape. So Hala, first of all, congratulations on the Excellence Award, and sorry you weren't able to join us in Cape Town earlier this year, but delighted to have you here on stage. And I don't think we have the trophy because we already delivered it to you. But I do have a little trophy, but it's actually a little gift that it's really more promotional as well, because it's my son's little business, and he makes these beautiful knives out of, the handles are made out of plastic, which recycled plastic and everything else.
I appreciate that.
It's a great story. So from my son to you.
Thank you.
Anyway.
And before, I don't want to take over, but before, I would like to actually also celebrate the 20th of FHS. That is an incredible moment. Right? I know exactly how you feel, because I'm sitting here and feeling very much similar to when the first time I arrived, 2005, to attend this conference. You had definitely bold ideas and very ambitious. And Dubai had 80,000 less keys, right?
Yeah.
And you've managed to really create a community, a global platform, and the ecosystem around it. And we today sit here and celebrate 20 years. I mean, we were younger, but it's just amazing. And I really want to say well done to you, Jonathan, for leading all of this.
Okay, hold on. I'm the moderator here.
Yeah, right. And for your team. But I wanted to take this because it's about all of us celebrating each other.
Oh, that's very kind.
So thank you.
Very kind. Okay, so a couple of questions for you. Hala, so what got you into the industry to begin with?
Considering I wanted to do law, I ended up finding myself in a sector that was trending, very frankly. That's how simple it was. Hotel management was the thing. And I studied hotel management. I worked for the likes of Hard Rock International, which was very exciting, traveled across the Middle East.
Did your parents encourage you to move into hospitality?
Not really, because at that point in time, again, I mean, I was born and raised in Beirut, and, Dad said, why?
Yeah.
Right? And I said, because there's something exciting about it.
Yeah.
But then I left home back in 1999, did my MBA, Strategy and Finance, acquired some operational experience with the like of Al Khurafi and few other hotel owners. And then it was a function of, I'd like to stay within this sector, but I'd like to focus more on financial advisory, working for PwC at that time in London, Arthur Andersen, and then moving to HVS. In HVS years, I'm 20 years as well. So here's where I am.
Fantastic. And you've also focused very heavily on encouraging women in the industry as well. Tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely, and it wasn't very conscious effort, I'll be very honest. There's just so many amazing, committed women out there. We provide fair opportunity, but yes, you're right. I mean, over time, I look back, and the quota on my team, if we can call it a quota, is usually 60%. Perhaps it's also the markets I've worked in, but specifically in the London office, we had many females. In China, less so. But in the Middle East, I was very conscious to make sure that we are offering this opportunity. And of my partners today, 2 partners are females. It could also be, to give the credit to Steve Rushmore, who most of his partners were females as well. So perhaps it's also running as part of the HVS culture that I then took on board. I was given the opportunity, and I feel this opportunity should be passed on to others.
Right.
And it makes me proud.
And just to tell us, how has your career or how has the industry changed since you first started out? And what is it that you're most proud of in terms of sort of steering that ship as an advisor to the industry?
So clearly, no doubt, in the last 25 years, the industry has changed a lot, but on a personal level and just being adaptable to all that changes. But I think on a personal level, because my experience started in London and potentially the more mature markets in Europe, so doing a hospitality valuation or a feasibility, less so feasibility, doing mostly asset management and hotels, I really looked at the real estate as in the real estate itself. Moving to China and there on to the Middle East, where I then realized I'm so curious, and the hospitality is not just about the hotels we built. There ought to be much more to that. It's about the place, it's about the people, the purpose, because these are emerging destinations and you're really looking to transform them. So that is the biggest change, in my opinion, around any hospitality advisory work that we do. Clearly, we're looking at real estate, but we're looking as also how does that impact the whole ecosystem? And how can we make sure that we're building within those communities? And ultimately, the long-term goal of these investments. And some investments are purely just making statements, but a lot of the investments and developments are very much based on plans to strategically transform a destination, to enhance people's life, to change the landscape. So these are the exciting, and I think this is what I've learned. I mean, again, going back to the first time, 2005, yes, I was very young, but I was so curious because there's just so much in the Middle East that I had to learn. And then reflecting on my 20 years, 10 years later, we set up Cape Town office. And now I do work in Africa, and also looking at the cultural differences there and the nature of the market, the cycle of the market. So for me, it has been really a massive learning along the way that I couldn't underestimate in my journey.
Yeah, I said yesterday in my opening remarks, moving from sort of an age of scaling to an age of ecosystems. What's your view on that?
100%, especially in most of the work that we do, because, again, I think clearly there's an element of us being able to produce bankable financial documents. But the question is, what are we solving for? What is the purpose? And this is where I bring in the whole ecosystem. Are we trying to transform? Are we trying to reposition? Are we trying to emphasize the destination? What is it that we're looking to do? Most importantly, with all this transformation, how does the ecosystem allow you to do that? I mean, I was earlier on talking about one of the potentially hot destinations and my views on Syria. You know, there's a lot of airlines today that are announcing flying to Syria. The question is not about the airlines flying. Do we have the accommodation? Are the people returning home Syrians, or are we already attracting visitation? So it's the whole ecosystem that really needs to come together. That's why part of this advisory is not just looking at this project in isolation. Success really depends on having a great financial plan, but it does depend on the support that circles around transforming destinations, whether it is government support, whether it's the community support. And again, here we talk about the community. Are people part of this transformation?
Yeah.
Are they willing to become as hospitable?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's interesting. For me, I mean, it is financial advisory, which sounds very rigid in what we do, but it's just the impact is way beyond just producing a document.
Are you finding the owners are also adapting to it as well?
I wouldn't generalize to say that this is the top priority of owners, but it would be so unfair to actually say that there aren't owners that actually come with this intention in mind. So you've got some projects that are looking to make statements and not necessarily looking to make sense, but definitely projects where the vision is to really impact and improve the life of the community.
Right.
And these are beautiful projects, and we've seen it. We've seen it in Africa. We even saw it in parts of Saudi Arabia where it is really your local community. There is an end goal, job creation, really improving the living. Now, depending who your investor is, right, there are different ultimate investment goals and objectives.
Sure.
As a financial advisor, we're very much focused on basically saying, does it make sense to start with? Right? And also differentiating the offering. How can it bring in also improved impact on the whole community.
Yeah. So in the other room just now, we had Hamza from Millet being moderated by Jeremy Maggs. And he's very opinionated about his views on Africa, of course, and what Africa needs to do, particularly in hospitality investment. What are you seeing in Africa at the moment? I mean, we've had this buzz, with the Africa Investment Summit yesterday. We had the ministers here. There's a fund being launched. All right, is there a transformation going on there?
Definitely in certain markets, and this is where perhaps, there ought to be more education around the investment opportunity and investment risks. If you look at places like Rwanda, for example, or if you look at Morocco and elsewhere, Egypt, I'm classifying the entire Africa, although they sit in different parts. There are some real opportunities, and more importantly, I think the government has also introduced the right framework for protection of investment. So the opportunity in certain markets exists, that there is the reforms required to build that sentiment and confidence. We're seeing certain markets are ahead because it's always a collaborative offer between the government and the private. Challenges do exist. We don't have to repeat the connectivity, which is extremely important because we know for a fact connectivity can make it or break it. Emirates Airline opened Dubai to the world, right? Qatar Airways did the same, Saudi will likely. So connectivity and the ability to travel is going to be a key player. But we've just concluded our valuation index, and it's going to go to press next week. But many markets in Africa has actually significantly improved. Now, again, putting things in context, it's not comparable. Right? You've got a pipeline of 600,000 keys in the Middle East, and you've got a pipeline of 50,000. But that's already an improvement. Perhaps the concepts there are also different. So you're looking at much more what I would say deeply rooted concepts. So your tents, your local hotel with the local community, local artisanal. So it's more creating this destinations that really speak to the people, supporting them and around them.
Do you have a favorite project that you've worked on?
Favorite project that I worked on?
There's no clients in the room.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm playing golf. No, I've had the pleasure of working on extremely large projects, right? So I could say the Atlantis, I could say the Royal Monceau, I could name it. But my heart is usually on projects that a client has a strategic site, not too big, like one in Oman, for example. It sits in a beautiful location in Muscat in the souk. Tiny, you could hardly do 40 keys. That's all you need to do. Now, how do you design it in a way that they could create such an asset, a lot of culture, so it drives creativity, and these are the projects that I personally get more excited about.
Yeah, no, for sure, understood. You're seeing HMA agreements all the time. What's happened over the last 20 years with the HMA, and how has that shifted or changed?
So two things have happened. Market maturities in certain countries, also more knowledgeable and sophisticated clients, for sure. So today we are seeing more fair and well-negotiated contracts. Ultimately, it has to be a win-win, but that means that these contracts are more performance-based, more tier-structured, and potentially some owners or owning groups with multiple assets, they have acquired the expertise to run their own asset. So they're at this stage where they still can benefit from the brands, but they would like to take more control. So these are the key changes that we're seeing in the way this relationship is being negotiated, agreed, shorter terms and more flexibility for owners to actually say, I'm investing, I trust you, but I want to be able to hold you accountable. If you don't deliver, I need to be able to find an alternative.
So is that being driven by the third-party management companies?
We've seen a rise in that, definitely. When we did our hotel management agreement franchise publication in 2019, we're updating it now. 60% of contracts in Africa were franchised, whereas only 5% were franchised with third-party operator in Dubai. We will next year update the study. I do anticipate we're going to see a big increase in the number of third-party operated properties in the Middle East. So much has happened, yes, in the last 6 years.
Yeah, okay. We've got a few seconds left, so just going back to leadership and everything else on, what to you does leadership mean?
Earning trust, I think, helps you build that leadership. Earning trust both in-house from your team and from people you service. I think with that you also need, to me, it is mostly around being able to make the difficult decision, but also to lead with a lot of empathy. A lot of my learning, Jonathan, has come from people, frankly. From juniors on my team that have challenged certain thoughts, from difficult clients that I thank them for really pushing us as consultants to think out of the box. Listening is very important, but then being able to consistently deliver on the values. We have HVS, we have our values as HVS. As a person, I have strict values that really guide me in how I lead. And yeah, I'm blessed. I'm surrounded by a lot of people.
And one final question I'd like to ask you, if I can find it. Hold on a sec. Finish this sentence. Hospitality will succeed if we
are willing to change in a quicker fashion. So that's adaptability, and not just that. If we don't take the guest for granted, right? I think not taking the guest for granted is going to be an extremely important one as we go forward.
Great. All right, Hala, it's been an absolute delight. Thank you so much, and many congratulations
Thank you,
again.
Jonathan.
Can everybody show their appreciation to Hala?
Oh, and we've got it.
Oh, we do have it.
Voila.
Oh.
So, but can I still keep this?
No, you can.
All right. Oh, thank you so much.
Oh, that's sweet. I'm so glad.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.